Good afternoon, internet. It's nearly 1 o'clock. It's Friday the 19th of June, and it is an absolute July. Oh dearie me, July. It's July. It's cracking up. It's old age, right? And it's a lovely day. So I'm on the Transalp today, and I'll tell you where we're going when we get going, because it's rather warm at the moment stood here with all this on. So without further ado, let's make sure all the pockets are done up, because I'm a terrible... Ooh. Right, okay, here we go then. So the place that we're going to, I've took you there before. It's called Châtelain, or Châtelain, where the river runs through, and there's a reason this time why I'm going here. Hang on a sec, I'll tell you what I have forgot to do again, as usual, because I'm really good at this. I just need to switch this on. Because I got my car play on. I'm going to see how this works today. Well, I know it worked good. Right, hang on, there was something else I was going to do as well. I'm just going to hire this camera up just a tad like that. Right, okay, so like I was, hang on, check the pockets again. Okay, we're sorted. Find a gear, and hopefully we'll ride out of here now. So yeah, I've taken you here before a few times, well, twice I think. Maybe 3 times, I'm not sure. Let's get the sun visor there. There we go. Right now, but this time there's another reason why I'm going there. Apart from it's an absolutely gorgeous day, and I haven't been out. I haven't put a video on for about a couple of weeks, I think. I'll get into that in a minute. Yeah. So, excuse me, I got a cough. So we're going, or I'm going, and you're coming with me, I hope, to Châtelain. Now, normally when I've gone there before, I haven't done the complete drive there. I mean, it's only about, I don't know, about, well, according to this, it's, what is it now, 41 minutes to get there, yeah? But we shall see, yeah? Anyway, so before I get into reasons of why I'm going there fully and why I haven't put any videos on, do you know, life can be extremely strange at the best of time, do we not think? And when you do something like this, when you do a YouTube channel or anything, when you put yourself out to public scrutiny, I think is the word I'm looking for, you know, you expect, don't you, that you're going to get comments that you absolutely love, and you becomes like a little community and all that sort of thing. But sometimes, you know, you're going to get the people out there who, you know, for whatever reason, they just got to give you their idea of what it should be or how it should be done, or in my case, and that doesn't bother me, because, you know, at the end of the day, everyone is entitled to their opinion, you know. If they don't like me or they don't like what I'm doing, well, that's fine, you know, I mean, that's great. So just click that down. But I had a guy, right, this is quite funny really, and it just goes to show how we tend to interpret what we see, yeah. I think it's probably the easiest way to put it. So this guy, he sent me a message, and his conclusion of me is that, you know, I've got 3 bikes, I live in a big house in France, I don't work, I do nothing, I'm a show off. You know, waste of time, blah 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 blah. So okay, and yeah, like I say, we are all entitled you know, to our own opinion, and I get that, but it's alright. I'm just looking at, can't understand why my thing's not talking to me, but it's not oh good, hang on a sec, let's shut the road off. Well, I ain't going to be going that way then, am I? Okay, we'll have a bit of a detour, shall we? A good start to the day, still, never mind. So I thought to myself, you know, I'm not going to answer him back. I mean, he's already formed his opinion. And oh yeah, another thing he said was that, you know, I only put videos on to earn money and talk a load of rubbish. So which is even funnier, to be honest, because you have to have a huge following and have hours of watch time to earn anything from YouTube. I have never ever earned a penny piece from YouTube. I haven't, and I don't do it for that. I do it for, I enjoy doing it. I love, like today, getting on the bike, having a ride, having a chat. You know, if people don't want to listen to me, well, that's fine. It's a personal choice. I'd like to think you would. I love to see the subscribers going up. You know, I keep on about I'd love to hit that 1,000, and I would. Don't get me wrong, just because you hit 1,000, it's not, you know, it's not ka-ching and all of a sudden the cash register go. It's nothing like that. You earn absolutely what it costs me, as in equipment, GoPros, bits and pieces, fuel to do it, all that sort of stuff, a computer to be able to handle, you know, all the editing. But that's because I love what I do. I do it because it's my hobby. So that hopefully settles that little bit out. And of course, I'm not sponsored by anyone, God forbid. I'd love it, you know. Royal Enfield said to me, hey Carl, we're bringing out a new bike, mate, do you want it for the... They don't do that to me. I'm just some old guy who lives in the back of beyond in France, that who cares if, you know what I mean? But anyway, now, but he still draws his own opinion, you know, which again, you know, this is fair enough. You know, this big house that I live in France, little does he know, right, and you know, it doesn't bother me, who knows what, that's not my house, that's a rented house, you know. It's a rented, it's rented for reasons which, again, you know, I'm not going to go into, but it's rented. So Mr. I don't own a big house in France, you know, and yeah, I've got 3 bikes. I've got the Transalp that I'm on today, which I've owned for over 17 years, you know, which I worked hard to get it into the condition that it's in now. And you know, the other 2, yeah, you know, both virtually, well, the Himalayan was a brand new bike, and the Meteor, not very old. You know, they're not expensive bikes, they're not expensive to run or insure or anything else. I'm a retired bloke, I've worked all my life, you know, and this is my little bit of a luxury that I absolutely enjoy. So yeah, that's me, that's what I am, that's what I stand for. And you know, when I don't put videos on, because that was mentioned by him as well, it's because, believe it or not, I have a family, you know. I might be some old geezer, like, you know, knocking on, well, I am, hold on a minute, I nearly said knocking on 67, I am 67, but I've got a young family, you know. My kids are still young, you know, and we do things together. It's like now, it's the French school holidays, this is the 2nd week, so you know, my family comes before a YouTube channel, as much as I love the YouTube channel, but that's what it's all about, you know. So when I don't put it on, there's always reasons, and 99% of the time it is because I'm doing stuff with the family, you know. Anyway, so I hope that sort of clears that gentleman's questions up, you know. So I'm not some flash git trying to think he's clever on YouTube, earning loads of money and sodding off to the Bahamas every so often. I wish I was. Well, actually I don't, because I like my life exactly how it is. It suits me just fine. So another reason, getting off that, well, sort of staying on it a bit, is one of my daughters, who's she's only 13, and she's got a huge problem with her knee. We don't know what it is yet, you know. Now this excuse me, it's I think it's the first time that I've been on the bike for some time, and it's the air keeps rushing in, I think. Anyway, not to worry. The French, you know, I mean, I sometimes have a bit of go at the French with their systems and things that they do, and you know, find it extremely difficult sometimes to cope with their red tape and everything else. But when it comes down to some things in France, and healthcare being one, they are absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, I have friends in the UK, and they tell me, you know, how long it takes to get an appointment, or and seeing a specialist or a surgeon. You know, it's like a, anyway. So my daughter, like I say, she's having a problem with her knee, terrible, swelled up, can hardly walk, blah blah blah. And so I took her to the doctors. In the space of 2 or 3 days, she'd had x-rays, she'd had an MRI. Went back to the doctors, he looks at all the results of the MRI and that, not happy with what he's seen. This was 2 days ago. He phones up the surgeon, the orthopaedic surgeon at the local clinic, because things in France, as well as hospitals, we tend to have a lot of clinics which, again, you know, are dotted all over the place. Basically what it does is it just relieves the pressure on the hospital. So anyway, he phones up the clinic, and we've got an appointment next week with a surgeon at the clinic. And then, you know, so I mean, what a fantastic system, eh? I mean, it works absolutely brilliant. Things that I've had done here as well, absolutely great the way that this system works. Really can't knock it at all. So yeah, I mean, you know, hopefully they'll get it sorted out. You know, apparently a knee's displaced or something. It doesn't all line up, you know. I don't know. Still, never mind. With a bit of luck, they'll take it off and reline it again, eh? Okay, so like I said, today we're going to a place called Châtelain, and as I said, we've been there a couple of times before. It's the one where the river runs through the middle, and one of the reasons, apart from the obvious being, as I said before, it's a beautiful day. I haven't been out on the bike for some time, and I mean, it's just great to get out, because apparently tomorrow it's going to rain, and rain for the next 2 or 3 days, which doesn't surprise me in this area. It really doesn't surprise me. Now, like I said, I'm going to probably, well, I am, there's no probably about it, I'm going to put this on the internet in 2 parts, because otherwise it becomes well over an hour long, and I get it, you know, an hour of me for anybody is far too much. So I'll split it into 2 parts, and if anybody wants to skip through, then please do. Feel free to totally miss me. Right, so I'll finally get to why I'm going there in a minute. So like I said, weather-wise being the first, but the second is me and my lad, God bless him, we're going to do a bit of fishing. Yeah, now obviously, as you know, well, the videos that I watch, or hopefully you watch them, I live on the coast, and so a lot of fishing around here is sea fishing, yeah. And sea fishing's okay, you know. I mean, one good thing about it is what you catch you take home and eat. And I mean, you know, we love mackerel and that sort of stuff, you know, absolutely brilliant. So, you know, it's great for that. but it's not so relaxing and a nice sport. So when I lived in the UK, which is 19 years ago now, I used to fish a lot. I used to fish for carp, you know. I had all my carp gear, and well, I mean the main fishing was carp, but I used to fish for other things as well. And it was really nice, you know. I mean, there's nothing nicer than getting on a nice lake or a nice stretch of river. No, I never used to fish the canals much in the UK because, unfortunately, at the time when I was there, the canals were nothing but a dumping ground. Now I know that's changed because I have a couple of friends who ride up and down the canals, you know, and have been one of them in, you know, cleaning them up and that sort of stuff. So yeah, they are much better now. So since I've been here, and when I left the UK, I did actually sell a lot of the equipment because I thought to myself, you know, I'm not going to drag it all over, the chances of using it. Anyway, so the other day, well, last week it was, well no, I'll tell you exactly when it was. I went away a couple of weeks ago with a mate of mine, and this is down to St Brevin-le-Pin, and the campsite that we stayed at, behind it there was this beautiful lake, huge lake, and the way the French do a lot of their lakes, because in France most of the lakes are government owned, it's public water, not all of them but a lot of them, and this lake behind this campsite was a publicly owned lake, and it's, I mean, as the French say, magnifique. It was absolutely fantastic, you know. There was picnic tables all around it, and you know, I mean, it was just so nice. There was bits and pieces for the kids. I mean, it was great. It was really nice, you know, and it was kept spotlessly clean, and everything was just nice, you know. And but there was a few people fishing, but you know what, it's not, I mean, if that lake would have been in England, it would have absolutely been heaving with fishermen, you know. You wouldn't have had much room at all. But it's alright, I got this bike behind me who he can come past. And this one, there was probably, the size of this lake, believe you me, was massive, and there was probably about 4 people fishing, you know. But there was picnic areas where families were on. I thought to myself, do you know what, this is really nice. And I came back and I said to my son, because we go sea fishing, and I said, you know, we ought to try this. So hence the fact now we want to get our fishing sorted. Now of course it is slightly different in the fact that you do now, because we're fishing like river fishing, well, sorry, freshwater fishing, we need a license, and of course it wouldn't be France, would it, if it was simple? You know what I mean? You gotta go through the red tape. But actually it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. One thing that I was surprised at is, obviously I'm a senior citizen. I hate that word, I really do. I'm an old git. But in France, sorry, in the UK, if you're a senior citizen, a retiree, then you get a lot of things reduced, don't you? You know, you get a bus pass, lots of getting into places, sporting things, fishing. Here you get nothing. Their thing is, well, if you're fit enough to fish, yeah, if you're fit enough to fish, you don't need any, which I suppose in one sense is good. But of course, you can't have a country that's got a lot of good things all the time. Some things have to pay sacrifices to get good things, you know. I'd rather pay, like for instance, a bit more for things like pleasurable things, but have a good medical system, which we've got. So, you know, okay, I can't moan too much. Well, I can, but it wouldn't really do me much good, would it? Anyway, so hang on a sec, let's just see where Mr. Tractor's going. I look at this on his phone, well, on her phone. Hey, look at that. I mean, okay, you know, but if they got off the phone, life would be a lot safer. But anyway, no, I'm not doing this. This isn't a moaning day. So yeah, where was I? Licenses, yeah. So we got to apply now. The license for me is €85 a year and €35 a year for my son. Anyone under the age of 12, it's free. So yeah, and I'll tell you something else, which now a lot of people might say, well, that's sexist, but no, it's not actually. Just listen, there's a special license for women in France, and I thought well, that's a bit, you know what I mean, that's like that's singling women out. But actually what they do it for is, when you think about it, they're actually trying to make a family affair. So what they're saying is, you know, they make it cheaper for the kids. Under 12 it's free, 12 to 18, like I say, it's 35. And then if your wife comes along and she wants to fish, she wants to have a dabble, for her it's €40. That's all for the year, yeah. So when you actually look at it, it's not it's not really them being sexist, you know. It's just, it just sort of, you know, it keeps it in a family thing, yeah, which I think is quite good, really, yeah. Anyway, so we've applied for the licenses. We just gotta wait till they get here, and then off fishing we go. Now, so in France, the canals are really well stocked up, you know, and looked after beautifully, you know. Now of course, by me, I live between Brest and Nantes, and of course, what runs between Brest and Nantes? The canal, the famous Brest-Canant canal, yeah, which was built ages ago, and served its purpose for many years, you know, delivering all sorts, you know, but it's well maintained. There's lots of stuff to do on it and by it. Loads of people every year come over, and they start their bike ride, you know. They come over on the push bikes, and they ride the Brest to Nantes canal, and but fishing in it as well is absolutely brilliant. Now it also runs through and feeds quite a few lakes on the way. Now all these lakes that it feeds are, again, publicly owned waters, so once you've got your license you can fish in them for free. There's no more charges. Now I thought to myself today, I'm going to come out here, which I've done, like I said, a few times, and just see, you know, see if I can see anybody fishing. Where do they fish? What sort of area? And then I'm going to go to the top of Châtelaine, where the canal gets smaller, because it starts really in Châtelaine, just outside, in a place called Port Lunay, but of course that's still the river. So yeah, and then the river turns into the canal, and it goes all the way there and all through the country down to Nantes. So that is the agenda for today's little ride. It gets me out, it gets me to see what's out and about, but oh, there's a lot of bugs around. Do you know, it's days like today when I think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to put an open face helmet on? And then that one there just smacked me straight in the middle of the visor, and you think to yourself, no, maybe not. I still have the fear of the Hornet. Eh? The deadly Hornet. Still, never mind. But I thought I'd come on the Transalp today because I'm going to come the main roads, sort of motorway way sort of thing. So obviously, you know, this bike makes it easier for that. Although I do have to watch the speed on this because my speedo is in English miles per hour. Well, not just English, is it? There's more countries than England with miles per hour. Anyway, and then the kilometres are in this little red writing, which is quite visible, to be honest with you. But one has to be a little bit careful, eh? Always this dry throat, because there's this new form of COVID around, isn't there, eh? What is this new strain where it is literally just a bit of a cough and more of an headache and that sort of stuff, and I don't know, you gotta wonder what's going on, you know, just when we thought it was safe to come out of the water. And of course, talking of COVID, our Joe's got it, hasn't he? He's come down with COVID, which, God forbid, is the last thing that he needs, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know, I feel sorry for that man. Again, you know, isn't the internet a cruel place, eh? You know, the sniping that goes on, the comments that's left to that guy, I mean, you know, give him a break, for Christ's sake, get off his case. Yes, he's making a few sort of mistakes, well, making, you know, more than a few, but what is it, is he 82, 83, I don't know what he is, he's 80 something, isn't it? He's 80 something years old. Talk about a high pressure job, you know. I mean, the poor bloke shouldn't be doing it, really, should he? Let's be honest. And whether you think he's right or whether you think he's wrong, whether you're for him or Trump, well, it don't make no. I mean, we don't live in America, but you know what I mean. You know, I mean, but there's no need to take the mick out of the bloke. You know, there really isn't. And I don't know how people get satisfaction out of doing things that they do, you know, as though it's acceptable, you know. The man's ill, probably. Show a bit of respect, for crying out loud, but they don't, do they? They don't. Makes them look big, doesn't it, eh? What they don't realise is a lot of these people that do this sort of thing, the only thing it makes them look is total and utter idiots. That's all it makes them look, idiots. To knock another human being does not make you any better whatsoever. Anyway, that's my opinion. So, let's wish Joe the best, shall we? I like Joe. I think he's alright. He backed Mr. Obama, who, to my way of thinking, he's probably one of the best presidents that America's probably ever had, you know. What a man, what an absolute star of a man he was, and of course Joe was his vice president, wasn't he? He was, wasn't he? I hope I've got that right. But yeah, so here we go. This road that we're on now is called the N165. So this N165, just like the canal, this runs from Brest all the way down to Nantes, and I think virtually goes into the Vendée. Nice road. It's toll free. Well, it's toll free until you get out of the Breton, because the Breton, there was some agreement drawn up years and years ago, that the roads in the Breton cannot be charged. Now, because of that, the speed limits on all the roads in the Breton are only 110 kilometers an hour, where once you get out the Breton and you go on the péage, they go to, weather permitting, 130 kilometers an hour. So there you go. So this is equivalent to the motorways in the UK, and I mean, you can see this is a typical day, nice weather, it's holiday time. It doesn't, okay, it gets a little bit busier than this, but not much at all. The roads here are brilliant, you know, they really are. And it's like, to be fair, you know, I don't mind coming on the main roads here, because it's not that bad, is it? You know, I mean, one thing I hate and detest is being stuck in traffic jams. Oh, it is a nightmare, yeah. And that just totally does my head in, it really does. Whereas this, you know, I mean, you're out in the countryside, okay, they're pretty straight and boring. One thing I have noticed is like this place here, look, yeah, a few years ago, I mean, I don't quite know what that is now, but a few years ago, that was like a little petrol station with a cafe and all that sort of stuff. Whereas now, there's quite a few of them being sort of shut down. I don't know why, but there you go. Anyway, look at this weather. You wouldn't think, would you? You know, you just wouldn't think that tomorrow it's supposed to rain. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, isn't it? It really is. Right, so look at my little mappy thing. So, talking of politics, eh? Talking of politics, what about the changes in the UK, eh? Now, the big question is Keir Starmer going to reopen up negotiations with Europe? What do you reckon, eh? Will it be a good thing if he did? Will it be a bad thing? I mean, you know, a few years ago when Brexit was all voted for, I think everybody was under this huge illusion that if Brexit took place, then all the problems with immigrants, as they say, would all be gone. But that's not the case, is it? Hasn't made a blind bit of difference whatsoever. What it has done, again, this is just my opinion, is that it's caused a lot of companies in the UK to struggle. Well, that's what I think, you know. I tell you what, it certainly has done. I mean, I used to buy stuff from the UK and get it posted over because it was a, you know, it was a good price. What Brexit did for me, it certainly, because now we pay that horrid import tax, so I look elsewhere, you know. Now, okay, me buying something from the UK is not going to affect the UK economy, but you times that by a few thousand living in Europe, well, then maybe it does make a difference, you know, to the little companies. You know, I mean, there's bike shops back there that I used to buy off, you know, because I know the stuff was good, but I won't do it now because, you know, okay, the price may be good, but by the time you've paid the postage plus you paid the import, in my opinion, it's not good. Now, talking of bike bits, see, I've got a lot to talk about today because not putting a video on for some time, and even with the croaky throats, I can still talk. So, I think the last video that I put on, it probably a couple of days after I got back from my break, I got a rack. Well, the rack had arrived while I was away for the Meteor, and I was all excited about this rack, and I thought, right, okay, I'm gonna stick it on. I thought to myself, I ain't gonna do a video. It's only 4 bolts. I mean, that's it basically. The 4 bolts that secure the seats on the Meteor, it goes there. So, okay, when I actually got the rack out, you know, and had a good scout round the box, the first thing you notice is that there's no bolts. See that there, private car, see that, police with his lights are flashing on the top seat. Anyway, so that's the thing you don't often see here in France. There's obviously been, we had an ambulance coming the other way, so normally things like that are done when God forbid there's an accident, is when you see them on here. So hopefully there isn't, and hopefully there's no one injured if there is. But anyway, right, what was I on about now? Yes, the rack. So yeah, like I said, there's no bolts, and the bolts that are already on the bike aren't long enough to put the new rack on. So okay, it's no huge big deal, I suppose, but so luckily I had some bolts. Yeah, I got a selection of things like that, so I got the 4 bolts, and so I take out the original fittings, take off the grab rails. Now what it is, this rack goes on first, the grab rails then go on after, and it all bolts through. Easy peasy is what you should be thinking, easy peasy. But no, because the rack, whilst it was being fabricated, twisted. Yeah, it twisted. So I thought to myself, these bolt holes are not lining up very good at all. So basically what I did was I bolted on, standing behind the bike, I bolted on the 2 bolts on the right hand side, and I thought, okay, I'll just push these up, but they are a mile out. And you can see, if you stand behind the bike and look at the rack with the 2 done up on the right hand side, the rack shoots off to the right. I mean, it should line up, come across the mud guard nice and straight, but no, it doesn't. It literally just shoots off. So the whole thing is all out of twist. I really, you know, I mean, now I know this guy can make racks because he's the one that I had the rack for the Himalayan, so he's more than capable of doing his welding. So I don't know what went wrong here, but trust me, it's pretty bad, you know, it's pretty bad. So anyway, I contact him, you know, send him a message. Hello, your rack don't fit, by the way, blah. Took the pictures, you know. There's no point going on just telling, so I backed it all up, took all the pictures. You can clearly see it's twisted. He doesn't even bother to reply, and you know, I find that's really annoying, you know. It's really annoying. Anyway, so I've had to start a case now through eBay, you know, open a case and they get involved and all this, and you know, it's all hassle. Yeah, okay, it'll all be sorted out, but at the end of the day, it is just hassle that you don't want, really, you know. You just want an easy life, you know. But yeah, So that's where we go with the rack. So at the moment I'm a bit rackless, you know, rackless, yeah. Right, so I'm just looking to this to see, yeah, I put this in the phone to see where it was going to bring me off, and we've been going for 40 minutes. So now let's see. Yeah, I think we're going to come off this one. We are indeed. Now what I'm going to do here, right, when I pull off here, then this is going to be part 1 of the video. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to change over my battery as well for the GoPro, and that'll be part 1. This will be the first bit that I put on, which is, you know, for me it's been a nice ride out. I know it's been nothing particularly exciting on the main road, but it's been a nice chat, covered a lot of things. So this is where we're going to exit, as it says. Okie dokie. Now, trying to think. There's a McDonald's over there, but what I'm looking for really is a place to park. Yeah, and I think I'm going here. And hopefully we can get a bit of shade under a tree somewhere. Oh, look at this. This isn't bad, is it, for a little parking space? You got your electric vehicle charging and God knows what else. What we haven't got, well, there is some shade, but guess what? Someone's nicked it, and I don't blame them, and why not? Okay, so I'm just going to pull in here like that for a minute, and that will do me quite nicely. Okay, so I'm going to end this video now, right? Okay, and we'll continue it round Chatelaine in part 2. Now, although I'm going to put on part 2, hang on, let me find neutral, there we go. Although I'm going to put on part 2, it will actually be probably the day after or something. So I hope you've enjoyed the first part. If you have, give us a thumbs up, that would be great. And if you're not subscribed, well, please do. Okay, so I will catch you in the next video. Take care, see you soon, bye for now.